So we went up to 26. And then so what Krishna does now that he has talked about this aspect, now he's going to give a brief glimpse of the next chapter, which is about Ashtanga Yoga. So 27 and 28 is what Krishna is going to talk about Ashtanga Yoga. It's not how to say it. It's not related to the chapter we are discussing right now. But what Krishna is doing, he wants to give a glimpse of what's going to come next. So he's going to tell us, okay, Premdam, I've talked about Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is one way by which you can attain me. And he's going to summarize that in the last verse of this chapter. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhirdam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatmamam Shantim Richyati. But before that, I'll give you another way. Before I jump into Bhakti whole soul from 7th chapter onwards, I want to give you another way. Because I don't want people who are practicing Ashtanga Yoga to feel bereft that, Krishna didn't talk about us. So he's going to talk about Ashtanga Yoga. So, so this is 27, 28. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Okay, so as I said, Krishna has already established Karma Yoga, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th chapter. Karma Yoga, when performed with detachment and offering the results to Krishna, can itself lead to liberation. So now Krishna is showing us another legitimate path to control the senses and attain liberation. So why does Ashtanga Yoga come here? Because of the progression in chapter 5, right? Karma Yoga, act in the world without attachment. It leads to detachment. It's a sannyas in consciousness, not a physical sannyas, right? Then Arjun can ask this question, okay, if I withdraw myself from sense enjoyments, how do I control the mind? You're asking me to detach myself. That's what we read, right? The transformation happening. Okay, so how is that mind control happening? So Krishna says one way is the Ashtanga Yoga. You can also do this, right? So renunciation through Ashtanga Yoga. And this process begins, where is that? Okay. Shutting out all external sense objects, right? So what is it that means is shutting out all external sense objects. So it's pratyahara. Pratyahara, anybody can think of a word that matches pratyahara that we have read in a verse in the past?
Yep.
In the
Yeah,
nectar of instruction.
Nectar of instruction first.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Somebody was saying something. Nectar of instruction. What was the second verse of nectar of
Prabhuji.
instruction?
Atihara Prayascha, right, Prabhuji? That's the verse.
Are you asking me or you're telling me?
No, that's the half of the verse, part of the verse.
Are you telling me, Prabhu, or are you questioning me if that's the verse?
No, that's the verse. Yeah.
Okay. So what does it say? Atyahara. So Atya Ahara.
Atya.
That was what, yeah. That's what we talked.
Atyahara.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the verse.
Yeah, go ahead. Please say.
Atyahara prayascha prajalpo niyamagraha janna sangascha laulyam cha shadbir bhakti vinashyati.
Yeah, thank you. Atyahara. So what does that Atyahara mean? Does anybody remember the meaning? Even if it's loosely in context, tell me, what does it mean?
Overeating.
Overeating, right? And Prabhupada explains in the purport in that ahar can be to take in, to indulge. It's like it's taking something in more than you need. Atyahara. So now what we're talking about is pratyahara. So pratyahara is restricting yourself from taking anything. So that's the withdrawal of the senses, right? That's what the first word is, shutting off all the sense objects, right? So prati means to reverse or to withdraw, right? So pratyahara means to shut the door of sense enjoyment at the very entrance. So Krishna is saying sparshan kritva bahir bhahyam. Bahir, one must keep external sense objects outside, not allowing them to enter our consciousness. Okay. So then comes physical and subtle control, right? Focusing between the eyebrows. If you all are familiar with the chakras in our body, the between the eyebrows is the agya chakra. That's between there, right? And it's considered a a gateway for inward awareness, right? Right. So then we have pranayam. The devotee does that. But then I'm not going to go into detail. We'll go in this next chapter about all the different Ashtanga Yoga steps. So, but just want to give you that this is just a brief glimpse of the Ashtanga Yoga, right? So Prabhupada, even in this, he gives a very good practical ways of doing it. For example, he says there is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether because then there is every chance of falling asleep. Nor is there benefit in opening the eyes completely because then there is a hazard of being attracted by sense objects. So when all of us chant in the morning, neither close our eyes completely nor open them completely. See, Prabhupada is giving us a very practical way how you can focus your mind while you're chanting. So that's something Prabhupada is giving us a very practical point here. So it's not about artificial suppression. It's about regulated engagement. That's what it is about, right? So these were physical and subtle controls. So if I go back to the verse, the first half is, so if you see, shutting out external sense objects, keeping the eye between the eyebrows, suspending the breathing, right? So these are mostly external things that you do, right? And then Krishna moves to internal state, which is the next verse, the 28th verse, right? So controlling the mind, sense, and intelligence, right? So what happens when we control our mind, sense, and intelligence? The desire, fear, and anger go away. Vitraga, bhaya, krodha, manmaya, mahopashrita. Bhavo jnana tapasa, puta madbhava agataha. These three, like Kama, Bhaya, and Krodh, they are the biggest challenge we all go through. And they all are deeply connected. We read that. There was a verse in the 4th chapter, the 10th verse, which talks about that, the one I quoted just now. Okay. If one tries to renounce the world out of frustration or aversion, it will not be sustainable because your desire and anger will remain within you. Right? So if somebody becomes very angry with this world, nobody is treating me right, there is all useless, I'm angry with it, right? And I try to run away from the world, that's also not sustainable. If I try to run away out of fear, that's also not sustainable. If I try to forcibly renounce my karma desires, that's also not sustainable. So true renunciation must arise from a higher attraction, from a positive engagement in spiritual realization. So the real progress in this path means not just external withdrawal, but also inner purification, which Krishna is talking about here. Right? Freedom from anartha. And when one reaches that state, withdrawn from sense objects, fixed inward and purified, then Krishna says, Sada Mukta Evasa. He says, Ya Sada Mukta Evasa. That person is liberated. Okay. However, the chapter does not end here. Okay, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that while Ashtanga Yoga, the process is valid, it is very difficult. Prabhupada says that. Where was that? Where was it? Okay, yeah, Prabhupada is saying it. This is a better way to controlling the senses than by Ashtanga Yoga, Krishna consciousness. Because he's saying that it's difficult. To do Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult in today's world. Right? So Bhakti Yoga directly situates one in liberation. So when one engages in Krishna consciousness, one immediately understands one's spiritual identity and begins to experience the presence of Lord. Okay. So 27, 28, this verse, external and internal discipline of Dhyana Yoga. And in verse 29, there will be a sudden shift to bhakti. Okay, but we will see that. Okay. I wanted to bring that. Where is that? Yes, so the last one, let's just go through the verse first. So the last verse of this chapter is Bhuktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhirdam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Okay. So here now Krishna is again, he's brought himself into the picture now, right? Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhirdam sarva bhutana gyatva mam. Mam means me. There's a me, Lord Krishna. So this is a peace formula that Krishna is giving us right here. Okay. So so this is again, as I mentioned in the past, Krishna always brings us back to bhakti in every single chapter, whatever he may be talking about. Even in Ashtanga Yoga, when he wraps up, he'll bring the verse about bhakti. He'll do that. So 27, 28, Krishna describes sense withdrawal, breath control, fixing the mind, intelligence, becoming free from Kam, Bhaya, and Krodha. Right? So maximum self-control through Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, I have controlled everything. Now what? Somebody's asking Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, when you have withdrawn your senses, here is where you place your consciousness. Right? So 27, 28, okay, he's giving a definition of yoga. Okay, don't do this. Don't engage senses. Don't chase objects. Don't be disturbed. 29, he gives a positive completion. Engage mind in me. Understand my relationship with you or your relationship with me and rest in that connection. So there are three identities Krishna gives in this verse. He says, I am Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. I am the enjoyer. Then he says, I am Sarvaloka Maheshwara. I am the proprietor. And thirdly, he says, I am the Suhirdam Sarva Bhutana. I am the benefactor. Right? I am the one who is your best friend. You can try to think of, oh, this guy is my best friend or that guy is my best friend. But no, I am your best friend. Right? Even when Mahaprabhu comes, Mahaprabhu also says that. He sings the song, right? In the Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandar Bole. That Ami Tumar Bandhu Ara. I think I forgot the words, but he says that I'm your best friend. Krishna is saying the same thing here. Right? So I individually sometimes think myself as that, oh, I'm the enjoyer of everything. Right? Or sometimes I think that I'm the controller. Right? So we are, and we all are in search of a complete shelter. We are looking for somebody who can protect us because this world is constantly lashing out to me. Right? So Krishna is right there. Right there. And Krishna is saying, who attains peace? Who understands Krishna as the enjoyer, the proprietor, and the benefactor. Okay. So now somebody can ask, okay, how can I, by accepting Krishna as an enjoyer, proprietor, benefactor, get peace? So real peace has to grow from within the heart. External peace or whatever situations, that they all are unsustainable. So when we accept what is happening outside, the situations, the frustrations, and in the same time, we understand Krishna as my protector, as my benefactor, as my friend, that's what's going to give me peace. Right? So you can keep asking the question, why? Why is this happening to me? Why did I not get the promotion that I was due? Why does my spouse, my husband or my wife, doesn't listen to me, or they're angry with me, or just doesn't match, our frequency doesn't match, or whatever? right? But those why will never have an answer for, because your mind does not have an answer for why. But when you ask, what is the lesson for me? What is the lesson that Krishna is trying to teach me? That changes our vision. So there are two ways. You tolerate suffering, and then you dovetail that suffering for Krishna consciousness. You request Krishna to help to uh, to help you become transcendental to that situation, right? Ways to tolerate, there are three ways. It comes as an acronym ACT. You can adjust the situation, you can clarify, or you can transcend it. Once there was a disciple of Prabhupada, and he went to Prabhupada and he complained about some other brahmacharis and said, Prabhupada, I can't tolerate these people anymore. You either change my service or I leave this temple. Prabhupada said, you tolerate them as I'm tolerating you. Right? So everybody has faults. Right? And it's not that you are tolerating others are also tolerating you. That's also something to keep in mind. All of us have faults, and different people have different faults. So we should ask ourselves, how would I feel if somebody keeps finding faults in me? Right? So that's, then you can also clarify. In the 17th chapter, Krishna talks about communication. In the 17th chapter, 15th verse, he talks about how to speak, right? Satyam priyahitam chayas, that it should be truthful, it should be priya, it should be done in a proper way, right? So it should be non-violent communication. That's one way of also thinking. And then the third is you can transcend the situation. You can just say, okay, fine. That's like the situation of the Pandavas, right? They tolerated when Bhishma Bhima was given poison. They tolerated when they were sent to the forest. But they did not tolerate when Draupadi was humiliated. They came to war, they came to fight. However, when Krishna leaves the world, they just walk away. Yudhishthir hears about that Krishna has left the planet. He just suddenly wraps up and says, okay, I'm leaving everything. And then all the five brothers started walking out, right? And they put Parikshit Maharaj as the king, and they just leave, right? So that's another way to tolerate. You can just, if you could just leave the situation, you can do that too. That's how we come to the level of understanding Krishna as Bhuktaram, Yajna Tapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And most importantly, Suhridam Sarvabhuta. He's my best friend. He's my only benefactor. So to understand this, we have to tolerate. And tolerate basically means you just keep small things small so that you can focus on the big things. Right? But if the tolerance starts obstructing the big things, then it becomes counterproductive. Then you should not be tolerant. Right? Who was that? Where was I hearing that? Yes, in the temple, Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu was giving a class, I think a couple of weeks ago, probably 3, 4 weeks ago. And he said there are three ways you can do that. So a situation, whenever you have a situation, you can either tolerate it. I think he was saying tolerate, mitigate, immigrate. Those are the three things he said. I really liked that. I noted it down. Tolerate, mitigate, and immigrate. What that means is, so either you tolerate a situation, if it's not hurting you, it's not hurting your bhakti, you just tolerate it, right? But if it's hurting your bhakti, then you have to figure something out about it, okay? And then if nothing works, you just leave that situation. You can move out of that situation if possible. So, right. So it's a beautiful verse. Yeah, we can talk a lot about it. It's a very valuable verse to keep in mind. Everybody's looking for peace, and Krishna is right here on the face giving us what that peace means and how you can attain it. This is a peace formula for all of us. Okay. So become free from the burden of trying to be the enjoyer, proprietor, or whatever. Yeah. Krishna is in charge, let him take care. I know it's not easy, but contemplation on anything can make it happen. Because when you contemplate, right, its first thing is you're contemplating on thing, and then you start observing that thing. Okay, hey, I realize that I'm not tolerant. I can tolerate this situation. So next time when that situation comes, you start, tolerating it. You observing it, introspection, observation. Then that converts to realization, and then you can take an action to it. Right? So, but I wanted to do something, and I wanted your help with this, all of you, before that. So I wanted to just go over briefly over this yoga ladder, and you all will have to help me. I'm going to ask you all. I'm hoping that you all know this concept because we've discussed it a couple of times. So you have to tell me what's happening at each step. Okay. And somebody can tell me what's happening at karma level. Begin. I'll let me see who all are there. Sandeep Prabhu, you have your hand raised. I'm not sure. I might have missed it. Was it from earlier or you had some
Y-
question?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Actually, my question was not about this shloka, but the previous one.
Okay. Sure.
In the previous shloka, Prabhu, Krishna said like all the senses like inwards,
Hmm.
and then people who are able to do that cut off all the, uh, you know, stimulants and the inputs from outside.
Hmm.
They are in this state like where they can. So my question, like two questions there. One is like, is that similar to what like yogis call as the samadhi state? Where there are no mental vibrations, essentially like somebody's almost like dead. uh and second question, Prabhuji, is like, if it is that state, where somebody's like almost dead, they are alive, but for all purposes they are dead. Is it even possible, like I know like Krishna himself and Prabhupada says difficult, but it's even possible because the seed of desire is always there, right? So how can like someone ever achieve that state, and theoretically, right? Because if the seed of desire is there, there has to be some kind of a mental process going on. So nobody
Hmm.
can actually achieve that state.
That's a good point,
It
Prabhu.
seems
Yeah.
like almost impossible.
Yeah. That's why. So when I was speaking about it, I used the word it's not sustainable. I didn't say it's not achievable. Yes, you can achieve it, but it's not sustainable. You cannot keep it for a long time. We see the example of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was meditating, he was a Raja Rishi. Indra got afraid because Indra is always, he's fearful that somebody's going to come and take his position. So first he sends Rambha. Okay. Was it Rambha first? No, first he sends Menaka.
Menka, yeah.
Yeah, and then he falls for Menika, and then Shakuntala is born, and then we have the whole Mahabharata going on, and Dasha, and then all that. Next time he sends Rambha. So what did Vishwamitra fall trap to in the first time? That is Kama. Second time when Indra sends Rambha, next time he fell trap to Krodha. He he just gets very angry on Rambha and he curses her to be a stone. Right. So yes, you're right. So sorry, right in the sense that it's achievable but not sustainable because there is nothing to hang on to. That's why in bhakti, because we are hanging on to Krishna, that's why we can sustain it. But this process is all by my me. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes, focus my eyes between the eyebrows, and I'll suspend my breathing, I'll control my breathing, and that will eventually lead to controlling my mind. Yeah, but that the concept of I, me, and mine is still very, very strong in there. So yes, you're right. But what I mean to say is, yes, it's achievable, but not sustainable. That's the way I would like to present it.
Yeah, because probably even somebody like got into that theoretical state, it's more like fake, because it's not actually
Mm.
liberation at all, right? I mean,
Yeah,
true
that's what actually
liberation is.
that's why Krishna is saying one who is always in this state is certainly liberated. But yes, we just talked about it's not possible to stay in that state always. So yes, the liberation is not possible, and then yeah, it looks very external. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What was that, or did you have another question, bro, or was
No,
this
Prabhu, thank you so much.
okay?
That's what I wanted to
Yes.
verify.
Yeah. And that's why when you come to the sixth chapter, when Krishna ends the whole sixth chapter, he says, that yogina api sarvesha madgatena antaratmana. Who's the best of the yogis? Madgatena antaratmana. Who focuses his mind, intelligence, everything on me. That's so he's going to go through the whole chapter of 47 verses just to tell Arjun that it's not a valid path for you. It doesn't make sense to go on this path. But as I've told in the past, Krishna has to speak about every path so that because he knows people are going to be in different positions there, because of their ego, pride, they will be attracted to so many different paths. But because I'm a suhridam, I'm a loving father to everybody, even though my children are not want they don't want to love me, I will figure out ways for them to come to me. That's what Krishna is doing out here. That's why he's talking about karma yoga for 4 chapters. Bhakti, jnana yoga. The remaining, the after bhakti yoga, he talks about 5 chapters about jnana yoga. So that's the whole purpose, because he doesn't want to leave anybody out of the of the mission that he's propagating. That's what Prabhupada's mood was. He built a house that everybody could come and live in. Black, white, brown, yellow, whichever color it may be. It could be all over the place. You could be farthest part of the world. Your food might be completely different from what Prabhupada would eat or what we Indians eat. Your language might be different. Your upbringing might be different. But you can achieve it because we all are eventually hanging on to Krishna. Actually, more importantly, we are hanging on to our Guru. And that's what's actually more important than hanging on to Krishna.
And
Okay,
Prabhu, like
yes.
Vishwamitra was an impersonalism state, like so-called, like when he was focusing on whatever, some other state. Was it like same
He
as
was an
like
Ashtanga yogi,
impersonalist?
right? That's what Krishna is describing here. That's what he was doing.
Okay.
These 2 verses, that's what he was. Ashtanga yogi, yes. However, you have to keep in mind, and we'll go through it. That's why I wanted to go through the yoga ladder once more with all of you so that it's clear, because we are going to go into the next step of the yoga ladder. So you should all just have that clear. Anybody can go to bhakti. Nobody is restricted. Ashtanga yogi, jnana yogi, bhakti yogi, anybody, or karma yogi, anybody can go there. So it's not stopping anybody. However, if you get trapped in that, okay, I'm just going to control my senses. I'm going to sit and meditate here. Yeah, that's not a good place to be in. He was actually a Rajarishi because he was a king and then he became a sannyas, a yogi. So that these kind of people are called Rajarishis. But yeah, he was more of an Ashtanga yogi. Okay. So yes, so what I wanted to do was here, and I wanted to see who all are here today so that I can ask everybody. Uh, who is M? There is somebody by the name of M here. M. I'm waiting. Who's M?
Prabhuji, can you say the question one more time? I didn't hear.
No, I didn't say the question. I'm just asking. There is somebody by the name of M in here. So who's that M? That's what I wanted to know. Who's that M here?
M-E-M?
It just says M here, the alphabet M.
Oh, no, it's not me.
um, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Hmm. Okay, I don't know who that M is. If this, I mentioned this in the past. If somebody is looking for a Bhakti Shastri degree, then probably I'm not a good teacher for that. I want people to read Prabhupada's books. That's my goal. That's why I read. I stress that people read Prabhupada's books. If Bhakti Shastri degree is the goal, I can recommend you to people who can get you a Bhakti Shastri degree in 6 months. Over the weekend, I met a Prabhu who does it in 6 months. He told me that. And I was so amazed at how can you wrap up 4 books in 6 months, but he told me he'd do it. So if you're looking for a Bhakti Shastri degree, I'm not a good teacher for that. I'm not a good teacher at all, actually. I don't know how, but I like reading Prabhupada's books. That's why I want people to read Prabhupada's books. That's why I thought, hey, let's read it in a structured way. But if you just want to log in and then just forget about it, and I don't know what's the benefit you're getting out of it, not sure. But I leave this person. I'm not sure who that M is, but okay, somebody can tell me what is the oh, let me just close my I might not be able to. What does this karma stand for? What do you how will you define that karma?
No sense of spirituality, just sense gratification.
Just a second. Sorry. Yes, can you repeat that? I was looking at the list. Sorry, go ahead.
So just sense gratification, no spirituality
Okay.
involved.
Yeah. It's just animal life,
Animal
practically.
life,
Yeah.
Animalistic
Yeah.
activity, yeah.
Yes, animalistic activity. That's good. Okay, karma kanda. What's karma kanda?
Praying to demigods to fulfill desires.
Okay. Praying to demigods to fulfill desires.
Prabhuji, these kind of people, they practice some regulations, like they follow Vedas, and that bring detachment to them. But eventually, purification comes, but it's not 100%. Like they are not 100% detached from the
Okay.
results. They
Yeah.
have,
It's,
yeah,
it's basically just going according to Vedas as is, okay, you want a beautiful husband, beautiful wife, you pray to this demigod,
yeah,
you want
they have
money, you go to
desires.
this demigod, and so forth. Yeah, so that's karma kanda. So it's purely, there is no connection with, there's no divinity in the whole concept there. It's just a barter, you're having just a giving and receiving, giving and receiving. That's what it is. Right. Okay, sakam karma yoga. What is that?
This is where there is a spiritual goal, but all the material desires are not gone away.
Okay, so yeah, there is still calm. Yeah, okay. Julan Yatra, let others also give a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah.
I know you know it. Thank you. Okay, Nishkam Karma Yoga. Somebody who hasn't spoken, please, somebody from there, tell me. What is Nishkam Karma Yoga?
Prabhuji, who is not attached to the fruitic activities and doing bhakti
Okay,
without any, want any desires or fruits out of that.
okay, yeah. So, um, what is binding him? If he's not, if he or she doesn't have a concept of attachment to the work or the results, then what is the challenge that person is facing?
You mean Prabhuji bondage, right? What
Yeah,
bondage?
so yeah, so what's the so yeah, so we know that okay, Sakam Karam Yogi, he still has some calm, some desires. But when we
Yeah.
say Nishkam Karam, he has given up all the desires for the fruits. So what is it that's the challenge that person is still having? That's something I wanted to understand. And you don't
Prabhu,
have to answer it. If anybody else wants to also go in.
still there are anarthas which is yet to be clarified.
So how do those anartha manifest? The anarthas manifest when we are attached to the activity. Might not be like for example, I gave that example, if you remember, there was this devotee who was a very good cook. But if you tell him to do something else, hey, can you help in cleaning the temple? He won't do that. Right? So he's so attached to that cooking. Oh no, I'll cook. Yes, I don't know about the outcome. But so yes, there is no attachment to the activity or the results, but there is an attachment to the to the activities there. So still there is attachment there. And that's the
Ritualistic,
challenge.
Prabhuji? Ritualistic, maybe? Like following a
Uh, Not necessarily ritualistic. I wouldn't call them ritualistic. Ritualistic is more karma kanda. There are Vedic rituals that they're following, but the goal is material enjoyment. Here in this one, they have this concept of spirituality, there's a higher, all that, but then they have not yet fully let go of attachments. They're not fully detached here because they're attached to the activity per se. Yeah. Okay. So then Jnana Yoga, what does Jnana Yoga stand for? Who can tell me? Somebody who has not spoken. Give it a try.
The yoga of knowledge.
Yoga of knowledge. Okay, yes. Tell me more about it. What does it mean, yoga of knowledge? How do these people achieve that? And what, so from here now we can bring in the three concepts of God also, right? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So tell me which one is connected to the Jnana Yoga. Come on, which one is connected
Realizing
to Jnana
the
Yoga? We
self.
talked about it.
I'm
Prabhuji,
not
this is
there.
connected
I'm
to
not.
at a Brahman platform,
Yes, so Jnana Yoga is Brahman platform, right?
and they are not attached to any work. They just focus on absolute truth.
Yeah. So it's
They use
uh,
the mind and intellect to do it in order to do this as well.
yes, they do use the mind intellect. So Jnana Yoga is is knowledge, intellect, and they have, so they are already detached. There is a significant amount of detachment already there Because if there was no detachment from this material world, they wouldn't have become introspective and gone out and tried to figure out, okay, all this doesn't make sense to me. There has to be something more. So that comes from a significant sense of detachment. So that's where, okay, so Jnana Yoga. Then what's the next level is Dhyana Yoga. So what somebody can tell me about Dhyana Yoga? Somebody who has not spoken till yet. Who all are there? Whose hand raised? Yes, Keshav, tell me.
So, Dhyana Yoga is meditation on Krishna or meditation on either the impersonal Brahman or the Paramatma. And like the key thing is meditation because you're always thinking about them. And I'm not sure about the specifics, but like I don't know how they become, but they're always just trying to think of uh Krishna in like his other forms other than Bhagavan. So that's what I think Dhyana Yoga is.
That's what you think? You're not sure?
That's what Dhyana Yoga is.
Okay, yes. No, if it's your thought, be confident about it. It's not somebody else's thought. It's your thought, you're confident about it. Yes, so that's Dhyana Yoga. But which you said one thing. He could either meditate on the Brahman or the Paramatma. Is that what the Dhyana Yogi does? You said that. I
Well,
want to confirm that.
well, I have maybe like because and there can't just be people that just do impersonal form, but like there must be some people. Yeah, that's what I said. That people can also meditate on the impersonal Brahman, like because they think of him like I remember like some hippies in Prabhupada's time they used to like meditate on like a bright glowing light.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. So, but in broadly, Dhyana Yoga is about Paramatma realization, right? So, okay, so let me ask you this question to everybody. Why does one go from Jnana Yoga to Dhyana Yoga, right? So, Jnana Yoga is intellect, but how does it become so, how do you say it, limited to that person is sitting down and meditating on the Paramatma feature within his heart? How does that happen? Right? Why would somebody who is looking at the pervasiveness of this world of the Brahman, that hey, looks like everything in this world is being run by a superior intelligence. The flowers come out when the spring is there, and when the winters come in, that the plants start to shed their leaves, and the sun comes out at the right time. The moon. So there is somebody who's looking at the all pervasiveness. How does that move from that all pervasiveness to this localized, focused within the heart, Paramatma feature? How does that happen? Can anybody give a thought on that? And just share your thoughts. I'm not asking for a perfect answer. I can share what my thoughts are. But just tell me, what do you think is happening there?
Prabhuji, is it because of doing meditation? Because in Dhyan Yoga, the person does a lot of meditation. He try to focus on Paramatma and they follow Niyam. They do Ashtanga Yoga, Samadhi. So do you think all this caused him to go from Brahman platform to Paramatma platform? Because I think you gave one example where a boy sees a train, he sees just a light, and he stays longer than he sees some compartments also. So is it like the transition is like that, that he's moved when he's staying
No,
long?
I know what you're mentioning is the Paramatma feature. What I wanted to understand or make you all think about is, when a person is a jnani on an intellectual platform, he's understanding the Brahman concept of Bhagavan, which is all pervasive. He's looking for it throughout this world. But from there, he moves to a Dhyana Yoga platform, and suddenly everything becomes shrunk down to the Paramatma feature sitting within the heart. So, how does that transition from that all pervasive thought process happen to this thought process where, oh, Paramatma is sitting within my heart? So how does that transition, how would that transition happen? That's what I'm trying to understand, or that's what I'm asking.
Is it, Prabhuji, let me try. Are you trying to establish some kind of connection to the Supreme?
Yes, you're trying to establish, and what as I mentioned, why would somebody, like let's say for example, If I'm looking for something all over this world, but then suddenly I said, no, it's not in this world, it's within me, actually. How would that, if you can just think in your mind and tell me, how would that transition happen? That's what I'm trying to understand. Somebody who's looking for something all over the world, suddenly he says, no, it's within me. It's within me. How did that transition happen? That's what I'm asking.
The heart change and the heart transform.
Okay, that's a good one. Yes, that's you're coming to the point. Yeah. Can you
Prabhuji,
elaborate
is
more on that? What does that mean? Heart transform? Himalati?
Means the only knowledge, not I mean, some realization came. Some realization after the knowledge, the heart transformed, and when practicing the Dhyan yoga, he realized, I from inside, it's already inside. The realization comes. That's what I try to say.
Okay. Anybody else? Somebody else was saying something?
Prabhuji, I have one more thought, might be wrong. Is it like he thinks because they are focusing on Satchidanand and they know that they're focusing on an absolute truth, and maybe they know that they are part and parcel of Krishna? Is that?
Well, a Paramatma, somebody who's in the Paramatma platform might or might not know that he's might not have the connection with Krishna as of yet. He
Prabhu, I
might.
think,
Yes, go ahead.
Prabhu, I think this has a close connection to the second last shloka, not the current one. I mean, the one previously, but before that, which you were explaining in detail, because whoever is in that situation, right, they are saying like eternal effulgence and all the, it's more like impersonalist kind of person. And just like you explained, right, that that's not a viable state to be in. And I think like some kind of time they have a frustration built in and they have a realization that, what, this is not the truth. There is something beyond this. And maybe that transform into this second and third, the last two letters, of this whole letters.
Yeah, well, I think I'll give anybody else has any thoughts before, and I can share my thoughts also.
Prabhuji,
Yes, please go ahead.
Paramatma sitting in his heart is guiding him to meditate upon him in Paramatma.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? That's a very good point. Because see that the transition happens because the person is seeing that all the answers are coming from within me, right? The person is seeing that who is guiding me from, somebody is guiding me from within. That's where the transition is happening. Okay, Brahman realization. Everything is, did I have a slide for it? Where was that? I think I had a slide. That's why probably I was coming. So, right. So Brahman realization, it's all pervasive. Everything is one, all pervading. Paramatma realization, God is within me. He's guiding me, right? So that transition happens because there's some gratitude that comes into our heart because we see what's happening. Oh my God, there is somebody who's controlling this whole creation. So there is this sense of appreciation. There is this sense of gratitude that develops in our heart, right? So Brahman realization, all pervasiveness, people are feeling very inspired. There is somebody out there, some intelligence. And then they also have some amount of detachment, dissociation from this material body. But then the other stage comes where, especially if somebody has association with people who are practicing bhakti or so forth, people they start to feel gratitude. They start feeling gratitude towards the source of everything and of oneself. But then that gratitude, it comes because also that person realizes that, hey, where are all these answers coming from? Where is this basic inquiry coming from? It's coming from within me. So that means that there is somebody within me whom I have to connect with, right? So when that sense of appreciation comes, when that sense of gratitude comes, can be also because of association of devotees and understanding that mental clarity comes that, oh, there is somebody from within me who's answering. So when that happens, then it becomes Paramatma realization, right? And then when that thing matures, right, that your desire moves from just gratitude to actually reciprocating and serving the Bhagavan, then you reach to the Bhagavan feature. That's where the transition happens. So because after some time, yes, you have gratitude, you have appreciation, but you will be looking for reciprocation. That's where the person who's in a Paramatma platform will move to the Bhagavan realization. So it's all coming, so it's all from within the heart. The soul, the super soul is guiding, as one of you was mentioning. Super soul is guiding that person, right? And we'll read that in the 13th chapter. There is the 13th chapter, which is the 23rd, 25th verse. Krishna says, Upadrashtanu mantacha bhakta bhokta. No, I messed it up. Anumanta, Upadrashtanu mantacha. Upadrashtanu means witness, and then Anumanta means permitter, a guide. So that's the role of the Paramatma. At one time, the person starts to think, okay, I figured it out. Yes, all pervasiveness, sitting within my heart, but how do I reciprocate with this person? That's where the person starts to think about Bhagavan feature. That's where the personal aspect comes into the picture. So this is what I was mentioning too, but yes. So this is the ladder, and it's good to see that you all have this basic understanding, because now what Krishna, but one thing I wanted to bring out here, I think, which I was briefly touching on, it's a ladder in the sense that there is a difference in the consciousness of the people, the level of detachment. Okay. But it's not a ladder that somebody has to walk through it to reach bhakti. A person in Karma Kanda, Krishna's mercy is unconditional for no reason. He can jump to bhakti right away. Somebody in Karma Yoga can jump to bhakti. Somebody in Gyan can jump to bhakti. Somebody in Dhyan can jump to bhakti. And if you do aparad, you might be on the topmost level and you can fall down to karma level. Aparad primarily against devotees. Aparad, that's the biggest aparad we do. We don't appreciate devotees. We criticize them, insult them. It's called Hati Matta aparad. It's a mad elephant offense. When you start insulting devotees, criticizing them, thinking bad of them from your heart, that's the worst thing. That nothing annoys Krishna more than that. He gets really angry with those people. And then what happens is that, 16th chapter, they just, Krishna he pushes them to the lower. Okay, you're not ready yet to move forward. So don't think of this as a ladder that everybody has to go through this process of karma, kanda, sakam, nishkam, gyan, and so forth. You can jump levels also. That's the mercy of a devotee. You can have a mercy of devotee. You can have mercy of Krishna. Prabhupada's mercy. People, drug addicts, doing all sorts of nonsense activities, immediately comes to bhakti. No need to go to jnana, dhyana, karma. Oh, forget everything. Bhakti. Those devotees became pure. Today, if you talk to those pure devotees, they're effulgent. You can see they have realized that what Bhagavan is. Right? So that's something also I wanted to highlight here. Okay. And
what level were Sanat Kumars in, like before they became, inspired by Krishna, like they could be personalized?
They were impersonalists. You can say they were more on a dhyan level. That's level. They were impersonalists. Right? And when they went to Vaikuntha, they saw Vishnu. Before even they saw Vishnu, they smelled the tulsi makaranda vayu, that smell of the tulsi from lotus feet of. They saw that and they become personalists. So yeah.
So weren't they like at the Gyan level, not at the Dhyan level, is it?
Well, so impersonalism is more at the level of jnana versus dhyana, yes. But it's not like impersonalism is completely gone. Sometimes even when you're in bhakti, we can do jnana mishra bhakti. We can do dhyana mishra bhakti. Even bhakti doesn't become pure right away, right? Even though we all are doing bhakti, we are not doing pure bhakti. We are doing mixed bhakti. So my bhakti can be mixed with other things also. So yes, so similarly, if they were impersonalism can be mixed with, or they are very inquisitive about gaining knowledge, or it could be that impersonalism could be mixed with dhyana yoga, that I just want to sit down and meditate and understand what this whole creation. So it could be mixed also, Prabhu.
Okay.
So yes, so this yoga ladder, keep this in mind, because now we are jumping onto the level of dhyana. Okay, that's where we are coming. And what was this? I showed this slide, right? So we were talking about this. Now, because you know all these ladder levels, now if you understand, when he says Bhoktaram, he's enjoyer. So whose desire is to enjoy? They are the Karam Kandis, and they are the people who have Sakam Karma Yoga. They're not fully cleansed themselves. So Krishna is even the master of those people, right? Who are enjoyers. So that's the first thing. Then Yajna. Who does Yajna? Tapasa. Who's doing Yajna, Tapasa? Tapasa. We just talked about it. Who's doing meditation? Tapasa. Which one person is that? In
Dhyan
the ladder
yogis,
we just
Prabhuji.
talked about, right? What did you say? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Dhyan yogi, Prabhuji.
Jnana Yoga.
Dhyan. Yeah, right. So Tapasa, Dhyan Yogis. Then Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Who's trying to be Sarvaloka Maheshwara, the proprietor of everybody? Those are the demigod worshippers. Again, the karma kandi is there, right? So they want to become Lord. And oh yeah, I want this. Okay, I'll ask the demigods, but still I want something for myself. So Krishna is the boss of those people also. And then people who are doing, dhyana yoga. Oh, what happened there? Right. So meditations. So he's suhirdam because he's sitting in their heart. So he's suhirdam. He's their welfare. So even the goal of dhyana yogis, even though they fully don't understand it, Krishna is their goal too. So this peace formula, Krishna is encompassing everybody who's there in that whole ladder. That if you could just understand in whichever place you are on the ladder, that I am your master. I am your best friend. Forget about everything. That's why he has to wrap up everything and just say, Sarvdharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So if we could understand that, then peace will be ours. So this is the peace formula that Krishna is giving us. Okay, so this is the end of the 5th chapter. Okay, so before we move on to the other 6th chapter, any thoughts, comments, anything on your mind? Anyone? No? Okay. There's one thing I wanted to just highlight. Prabhupada is saying it in the 5th chapter purport. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. The first part which I like is on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness. That is the important part, right? That you have to, we have to perform, right? That's what Prabhupada is saying, practical performance, right? We all are going through a lot of things in our life. There's a lot of psychophysiological changes happening. When we are young, our senses are very strong. We try to, oh yeah, I'll figure this out. I'll do it myself, right? But then we feel more passionate when we are young. It's a life cycle, right? And so our hormones are strong and so forth. The idea of conquering the world or various other thoughts, they were very prevalent, right? And we go through these errors in our life, and we just be tolerant, right? Do the best we can to stay steady while we're chanting Hare Krishna in all the circumstances we are going through. And Prabhupada says that the result is sure and certain. We will get that result. We will get that result. Right? So, and then Prabhupada goes on to say that when you take to Krishna consciousness, even if you decide at one point you don't want it, it will come by its own force. You are doing great. We all are doing great. Right? And patience is something Rupa Goswami recommends. Which verse does he recommend patience?
Nishadharyat, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's the 3rd verse of Nectar of Instruction. So yeah, so patience is the key, right? When the time comes, it will come. Bhakti will come. It's just like a tree. I don't know if you know that, but when you grow almonds, it takes around 7 years for an almond tree to produce almonds. The good stuff takes longer for the roots to go down and get established. And actually, Prabhupada says this in the. Has anybody read which book is that? The Light of Bhagavat. Anybody read that book?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me share the screen. It's a very small book. Prabhupada wrote it before even he came to United States. Prabhupada in, I think, 1962, he was invited to Japan for a conference of religion conference. He was invited. And he wrote a book. He actually picked up a chapter from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about the autumn season. And he wrote it more for he wrote it in the sense that people who had no idea of bhakti could understand it. And that's why, because he thought that Japanese people would know anything or anybody would know. And he wrote that, but then he couldn't go to the conference. And then after Prabhupada left, one of his disciples found that transcript, the manuscript, that which Prabhupada had written, and they got it printed. So it's the first book Prabhupada actually wrote. And I wanted to just show you that chapter. It's a very thin book, I think 45 chapters, and we have it at display in our temple room if you want to pick up a copy. 47 or so chapters, but just half a page or a couple of pages of what Prabhupada is given. But more importantly, I just wanted to show you what I was just saying was coming from, where was that coming from? I just thought I'll show it to you rather than me it acting as if I'm saying something. To Light of Bhagavad. It's chapter 42, I think, if I remember correctly. Was it 42? 43 probably. 43. Here, read this, okay? Devotional service to the Lord never goes in vain. Just at the right moment, the result of one's particular devotional service will come, even if one has no desire for it. The pure devotees do not wish any return from the Lord in exchange for their service. They do not make business exchanges with the Lord, but the Lord, out of his own accord, fulfills all the desires of the devotees. It may appear that a devotee of the Lord is becoming poorer and poorer in terms of material prosperity, but factually he is not. The typical example is the Pandavas. The 5 brothers, headed by King Yudhishthir, underwent all sorts of difficulties because of the conspiracy of their cousins, headed by Duryodhan. But in the long run, King Yudhishthir was enthroned by Lord Sri Krishna, and his enemies were vanquished. A devotee should therefore execute his devotional service with full energy, endurance, and confidence. He should perform his scheduled duties. He should be pure in heart, and he should serve in association with devotees. All 6 of these items will lead to devotee to the path of success. One should not be discouraged in the discharge of devotional service. Failures may not be detrimental, they may be the pillars of success. One must have good faith in the regulative principles followed by the self-realized souls, and one should not be doubtful about the ultimate result of such devotional service. Rather, one must go on executing his prescribed duties without hesitation, and one should never be influenced by unwanted association. So what Prabhupada is asking us here to do is just follow the regulative path. Simple as that. Krishna is going to give his mercy eventually. There's no way that he's not going to give it. But when he gives it, it's not under our control. What is under our control? One must go on executing his prescribed duties without hesitation, and one should never be influenced by unwanted association. And then I just want to read, I think there was some in the 44th, if I remember. Was it 44 or was it 42? Let me see if I can find. There was another thing, I just wanted to read one part more. Probably it was just this chapter. Okay, so it was just 43. So yeah, if you have, this is an amazing book. If you have not read it, it's just Prabhupada puts his heart in there. And because Prabhupada was going to Japan when he was going to speak about this book, his disciples have made paintings that look like, Japanese art. Like if you see, where's that cover, if I could bring that up. So you see this cover, it looks like a Japanese art. So that's what they did. This one. So it's like a Japanese art. Just because they knew that Prabhupada was writing it when he was going to Japan. But yeah, so doing our duties to the best of our capacity is going to take us to the goal, which is bhakti. It is going to come for sure. And that's what Prabhupada is asking us here to do. Practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness. No, there's nothing fancy. Oh, when I will read the Jaiva Dharma, when I will get to know the Tattva Sandarbhas, when I will be able to know what is the all that is not important. It's important that you just do your duties sincerely. Krishna's mercy is going to come. People might come and tell you, oh, we need to do this. Oh, Prabhupada didn't teach us this or that, and all that. That's all nonsense. Prabhupada gave us everything we needed to be successful in bhakti. And that's all we need to follow. Okay. I'll pause here. We're at 8:10. I was hoping to get into the 6th chapter, but I can skip that. We can start that next week. But I wanted to see if anybody has any comments, questions, thoughts, criticism.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
So I've been thinking about this after you said it. So if Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and benefactor, how can you be in peace? That question have been just in the back of my head as soon as you said it. And you said by tolerating. So what are you tolerating? If things don't go your way, but there are times when we're living in this world, there are plenty of times when things go our way too. So I just wanted some insight on that.
So there is a verse in the Bhagavatam which tells us that when we decorate our face, our reflection also gets. Let me pull that verse and we can see if Prabhupada mentions something in the purport there. Which verse was that? Okay, this is let me see if I can find which verse. Give me a second, I'll just find this. Okay, Prabhupada is bringing that down. Teachings of Queen Kunti. I want to find the verse. Which verse was there? So yes, so I'm finding that verse. But what I was saying is that let me just pull that up. Give me a second.
What the question I'm trying to ask is, let's say I'm applying for a job and I get that job, right? How can I, in that situation, still say Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and benefactor?
When you're getting a job, well,
things going your way, basically, things turning out good for you, all your wishes are being fulfilled.
Well, so if everything is going well for you, well, obviously it's going to be hard for you to ascribe it to Krishna, that, oh, it's Krishna who's giving it to me and it's Krishna's mercy, and seeing me happy, Krishna also gets happy. Yes, it's going to be hard. But for a devotee, that's the way the devotee sees, that he's always seeing it as Krishna's mercy. That, oh, I got this because Krishna's mercy. It's coming as Krishna's mercy. That's what makes Krishna happy. That's what makes the person happy, that, oh, Krishna is focusing on me. Krishna is looking at me. I'm in his vision. So that gives me that peace, because I feel I'm protected there. I'm not sure if I'm hitting the point, but that's the way we understand it.
So basically, by tolerating when things don't go your way, and by being grateful when things go your way.
Yes, and in both the ways, Krishna becomes a benefactor because, as we were saying, right, that it just strengthens your connection with Krishna. When you ascribe it to Krishna, when you offer it to Krishna, when you bring Krishna into the picture, suddenly all that, the Kam, Krodh, and the bhaya, the fear, anger, and the lust, they go away, because our lack of peace is because of these things. Either I am fearful in a situation, or I am angry, or I'm lusty. These are the main things that pull away our peace. But when I ascribe everything to Krishna, and I'm not falling trap to any one of these. For example, Bhaya, where does fear come from? Okay, I'm doing something, I'm going for an interview and I don't get a job and I become fearful. Oh my God, I didn't get this job. It looks like I'm just going to starve to death because nobody's going to hire me. That fear comes in and that takes away our peace. Similarly, when I go to desire something and I don't get it, I become angry. Or I start, for example, I didn't get the desired promotion at work. I start thinking that, oh, it looks like my boss is just rude. He or she wants to bring forward his or her own favorites. So there's some kind of politics going on there, and that makes you angry there. That takes away our peace. But when we bring Krishna to the picture and we say that, no, whatever is happening is Krishna's plan. And I'm taking everything, whatever's happening to me, as a way that Krishna is trying to teach me something. And Krishna is helping me. He's holding my hand tight. When I bring Krishna into the picture every time, that's what makes me happy and peaceful. That's the way to look at it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
But I'm still searching for that verse, and hopefully I think I found it. But Julanatha, you had your hand up. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to
Please.
give some of my personal experiences.
Sure, yeah,
Um,
please. Sure.
so recently, I'm not like a citizen, right? So I currently, like, with whatever was going on with visa and things like that, and at that point I was thinking that I don't know if my company, because my company is just a startup, so I was thinking I don't know if they're gonna like be able to do my visa or not. But at one point, like, the company basically said that, maybe yours may not be possible because of all this fees and whatnot. But then I was like, I mentally was prepared that this is not going to happen. But within few weeks, my company just emailed me saying that your application is in the process. But at that time, I was, instead of like being very happy, I just had that realization that I have to like stay in this country and serve Krishna.
Yeah, that's very good. So yeah, in both the
So
situations, whether it was not working for you or
yeah.
whether it was working for you, you brought Krishna into the picture and that made you peaceful.
So
I'm sorry
yeah,
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
so I was just basically saying that, just even if you're like, if something is going your way, is just one way to realize that this is how you're like supposed to serve Krishna.
Yeah, and that brings peace. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah. And I found that verse. Let me share that. It's Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. He's saying that. So he's saying that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also seen to be decorated. And Prabhupada is giving in the purport that in Bhakti Yoga, it is recommended that a devotee follows the 9 principles. This service of glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on is not, of course, meant for the benefit of the Lord. This devotional service is recommended for the benefit of the devotee. The Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies him or not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, the devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. By glorifying the Lord constantly, the living entity becomes purified in the core of his heart. And thus he can understand that he does not belong to the material world, but is a spirit soul whose actual activity is to advance in Krishna consciousness so that he may become free from the material clutches. Thus, the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. That's how we become peaceful. And Prabhupada is saying, become purified in the core of his heart. Again, means going back to the 3 things we talked about: Bhaya, Krodha, and Kama. That's purification of our heart. And the moment the heart becomes purified, we become peaceful. So just by offering or loving Krishna or accepting Krishna as our Surya, as our benefactor, as our, as the supreme, as my best friend, automatically the purity in my heart starts to happen, and that the peace eventually starts coming in. Obviously, it's not black and white. It's a gradual process. If you look at yourself if I look at myself where I was 5 years ago, I can see that I'm more peaceful now. because I have started to bring Krishna into the picture in whatever is happening in my life. Not that I'm fully there, but I'm trying, and I can see that difference in my life, that peace coming in. This is 7-9-11, if anybody wants to keep track. It's Prahlad Maharaj prayers. Hope we touched to your point, Binu.
Yes, probably. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anything else? Anyone?
Prabhuji, this is just a relate or reflect. Like the sentence or the statement by Prabhupada, the last verse.
In the purport, the last verse we were reading in Bhagavad Gita?
Almost at the end of at the purport. So I'll just read that one. As long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute work in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdictions of matter, for it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in the material world. So I was just...
Sorry, which verse were you reading? Can you tell me the number? Sorry, I didn't...
The verse 29. Verse 29, just the last paragraph, somewhere middle of the last paragraph, 29.
Okay.
So that as long as he is
yeah, here you go. Yes, gotcha.
I like this part. When I see the practitioner, devotee, this is exactly what they are doing, and so it is doable. It is, this will also give peace and guidance. That's what I like this one. Prabhupada is saying very clearly, we can also, even though material, as long as his contact with matter, he has to execute in terms of material. Like everyone is working and doing at the same time with the practicing Krishna consciousness. Is a very happy to see that. And also I relate this with the nowadays with hospital everywhere also. Like say they doctors, initially when I was at India, when we went through so many doctor visit, that time we think about to cure only the bodily disease, bodily effect. Nobody cares about the mental thing. Now every doctor visit, every doctor team has psychologists also, so they understand all these things affect mental. Say when we have some disease mentally affected, and then anxiety started, and then they sent a therapist. So along with that, I realized that what therapist doing is exactly like Bhagavad Gita or the spiritual scripture is doing. Personally, I realized that. So my daughter's case, she also has such a thing. And then they sent her to therapist. When I went her therapist, I heard the similar words we hear from Bhagavad Gita. That means I realize now everybody start realizing we need to take care of not only body as well as soul. That realizing I
People
got.
are realizing that. Yes. That is why Bhagavad Gita is a very important book. Keep it with you, read it the whole time. Don't take it as a spiritual, religious book. Just keep reading it again and again, and Krishna will give you every answer we are looking for. And not just you, Hemavati, everybody. Krishna will give you every single answer you're looking for. Any problem that we go through in this material world. Thank you. Okay, anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, Prabhuji, you said about the exam. Where was it posted?
Oh, you're not a part of the classroom. I'll send it to you. I'll add you to it.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhu, I also had a question about the exam.
Yes.
So you had like two exams, right? One is a closed one and the other is an open one.